week it was, if it was the final week or the week, or the 2 weeks before the final week, or indeed the second week, I was there. But it's nice to have you on the show. Obviously, I would prefer in person, but that obviously, for obvious reasons, didn't happen
Yeah.
this time. So I had to use. I basically was stuck on title, so on this occasion, I used AI to come up with the titles.
That works.
And you were also, so apparently it put you on this particular one, which is rewriting the rules, um, and which neurodivergence and everyone really has non-linear thinkers would actually be doing every single day.
Hmm.
So how did so with what you do, and of course, this is obviously a neurodivergent show, so to speak. So, what what if you have any? What are your experiences with someone or yourself with that kind of thing, and do you how how do you approach life in this particular topic of rewriting everything rules and uh, everything really?
Well, you know, it's kind of a different world for me. When I wrote the book, it was about, I started it in 2020. So we're 6 years now since I started it. It's been out for a year. And I didn't realize, well, let me back up. I knew like some of the things that are in the book are, they focus on mental health. They focus on, you know, um, really just kind of being true to yourself. And that was all part of the music that I was growing up with and listening to in the late 80s and early 90s. And I didn't realize the impact that me talking about certain things that I went through, whether it were depression, therapy, suicidal thoughts when I was young, 2 different times. Um, I didn't realize that talking about things like that on a large scale or in a public forum would really land with people that I don't know. And it seems to be something that people, gravitated towards when they read the book. And I've gotten many, many comments and notes and emails and DMs and all sorts of ways that people can reach out to you these days. Um, you know, telling me their stories and telling me what their life is like and how hard life is for them sometimes based on all different factors. Um, and I didn't know that was going to happen. So I'm just kind of learning really about the struggles of people or the way people live different than me or even similar to me. You're always kind of around your own circle, or in your own bubble of people. But now I've been exposed to so many more, and I think it's a really good byproduct of writing this book that I've been introduced to so many different types of people with different ways of thinking and learning and um, comprehending things and just getting through life. So I'm really still just learning.
We all are really. Well, we can't really stop learning unless then we'll be dead. So when we stop learning, it's the end of our life.
Yeah.
That's yeah. I'm still learning, and I'm done 30 plus years in music and doing what I do. And if you hear sound effects, that is my dog walking around the bedroom. But
Oh, that's great. I love dogs.
um, I can never, I can never, I can never stop learning. And I'm currently even I'm an accomplished musician certainly, but um, I'm now trying to take it to a new level, and my learning is taking it to attempting to play Rosanna, um,
Hmm. Very
and
nice.
learning that groove, all of it, and in the right how it originally sounds on the record.
Okay.
Now, how did you? Because it's you you I think you said you either hung out with musicians or were musical. So how would you go from that scene to writing an author? I mean, how do you go from rowdy noisy to
Yeah. Um, so I've always been around music, and when I got into college, that's when I really got into the local music scene I was involved in, and working with bands and going on tour. Um, and then later on, I started a local and independent record label, helping produce albums and put them out both vinyl and digital. So being around music was always something that I've been used to and attracted to, but quietly and
yeah
sort of behind the scenes, writing has always been that for me too. I probably wrote my first, you can call them poems or you can call them song lyrics, whatever they were at the time. I was probably only about 12 or 13 years old. And those black and white marble notebooks,
yes
that we had in school. So I still have, I probably have almost 10 of them lying around to this day, filled with pages, or the pages are filled with things that I had written dating all the way back to my young teenage years. So I always loved writing, but it was just for me. I didn't, I always used to think, well, being a writer is for somebody else. Writing a book, somebody else,
yeah
not me. Um, and I think just with age and experience, and also I really truly believed I had a story to tell, that involved music. It involved, my personal experience, and how the two were married together, um, and how music really helps people. It helped me, and I wasn't alone. I knew I wasn't alone. I knew millions of other people felt the way I did, and I really thought I had a story to tell. So I decided, well, instead of just writing for myself and instead of just writing lyrics and poems and maybe even some short stories, I want to tell a much longer story. Um, so that's really where it came from. I mean, I also did write reviews. I was a freelance music writer on and off for 20 years. So I wrote reviews, I wrote um, essays and articles of bands or albums, interviewed artists, but I never really did anything outward that was personal. Uh, and when I figured out I had a story to tell, I just decided to tell it. And you know, sometimes things like that come with age. Like,
yeah
I couldn't have done it in my 30s. I don't think I could have. And I was in my late 40s when I started this. I'm going to be 53 in a couple of weeks. So, it took a long time to get to where I'm at with this book and to have the courage and the ability to write it. Um, but it was always in me, I think.
yes I would I know those songs were not meant to be released, but I would love to hear some
Sure. Yeah.
of the old stuff and um I so my experience with music is probably similar to yours, and only the only differences would be I wasn't a freelance writer,
Mm.
and I hadn't actually started writing my own songs until last year.
Wow.
So in the last year and a bit, I have written. Not sure where it came from or how it came from. I have written around nearly 30 something songs
In 1 year.
within 1 year.
Wow. That is incredibly impressive. That is a lot of music.
Just getting what I feel out on paper and literally, it was once you started writing, going down the rabbit hole, the
Yeah.
muse has really been very helpful in that respect.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
It, I do find that it becomes something of an addiction in a way,
yeah,
or something you just kind of have to do once you start.
and also as someone on the spectrum, and I've been rewriting most of the rules all my entire life. When it comes to music, I don't. I used to think that searching for the perfect. But when I got to my late ages, now I'm 34. Um, there is no there is no there is no such thing as perfect.
No.
And with with anything really, books, you've probably written several drafts of the one behind you.
Mhm. Definitely. Yeah.
And I'm sure several versions of your lyrics as well over the years. I have
Yeah. I mean, I've always viewed writing. It's with a book, it's a little bit different because it's going to be set forever. Like once it's out, it's
yeah,
out. You cannot change it. So you do try and get it as close to perfect as possible, although it's not perfect. And there are things that I wish, I could have added. Maybe that means I'll have to write another one.
yes,
Maybe there are things I could have, rephrased or whatever. That's always going to happen. You're always going to do that when you create something. But other types of writing, I've always looked at it as it's a moment in time. And whether that's music,
oops.
oh, where did I go?
Where did you go? Yes,
I don't know.
you have disappeared.
I have. That's let's see if I can change that. Where did I go?
Technical difficulty, folks. It's never happened before.
That is so strange. You can still hear me though, right?
I can still hear you. Yes, I'm
Yeah.
speaking to a black screen.
Oh, I flashed. There. No.
That's very inappropriate. Yes.
No, that's not.
Audience doesn't. This is not the right audience for that kind of thing.
Yeah, right. I don't know why. I mean, nothing. I did not get any kind of like error message on my screen or
No,
anything.
neither did I. You are
Um,
here, and yet you're not here at the same
yeah.
time. Try and
Let's see.
restart the camera. So see,
The
the audio will be working fine. It's being recorded as we speak. Um,
Yeah,
obviously,
no, the camera's still here. It's got the default. Everything is still showing on my end that it's working, but it clearly is not. This is weird. Um, let's see. No.
and yes, no, technology by no means it's actually a fantastic example of what isn't perfect.
That's right. And it was strange how it happened too. It just disappeared. Wait. Um,
So sorry, people. Not my fault. Not anyone's fault. Well, maybe.
yeah, it
I'm
just
not
the camera didn't
responsible.
like me anymore and it went away. It said, no, get him away. Let's see.
If you've ever watched a program that's, I don't know whether you got these programs in the US, but if you've ever watched a program called Little Britain, one of the sketches, computer says no. This is exactly what happened.
Well, we are definitely. I feel like we're in some sort of episode of something now as well. That's not very. It's
No,
not
it's like
very
a Halloween
kind.
thing, isn't it? You could
Uh,
always come back in if that's easier.
do you want me to try that? You want me to try and come back
Yes.
in? Okay.
Otherwise, I'll be talking. Otherwise, you'll be having to call yourself Phantom Janky.
All right. I'll leave and then I will come right back and hopefully it's fixed.
Right.
All
So
right.
while Rob is doing that and trying to fix that little technical difficulty, um, this was a perfect example of what is not perfect, and that does. Well, as an autistic person, I do strive for perfection, and well, I keep chasing that, and it doesn't actually. In my later years, I've thought, why am I chasing this? It doesn't actually happen. So it's taken me a while to get to that point, and Let's see if this works now. Ah,
There
there we
we
go.
go. That was strange. Let's hopefully that doesn't happen again.
Right. So where did we lose you?
I think we were talking about writing. Yeah, and I think I was going to say that outside of the book, because we're talking about perfection and things like that, that I've always viewed writing as like a moment in time, whether that be a song lyric or a full set of lyrics, a poem. It's about how you feel right then and there. And it doesn't even have to be about you, obviously. Not everything
No.
is autobiographical. You can maybe want to send a message or talk about something you've seen, something from somebody else's life or whatever. And then you write it, and that's it. And then that's what it was meant to be. If you think about it in musical terms, I remember there was an album I was working on for an artist I was going to release music with, and we were in the studio, and the producer and the artist were arguing. We were doing overdubs on guitar, and there was this little lick, this one little. It wasn't the main riff; it was just this little add-on,
Yep.
and they were arguing for like 10 minutes straight about this little two-note thing. And I finally cut in. I'm like, guys, you're fighting over something that no one but you two are going to notice. That's either there or it's not there. Because one of them wanted it in, the other didn't. And I'm like, it's two notes in the middle of like, stop, stop arguing about it. It's not worth it. But they were looking for perfection, whatever that
Yep.
was to them. And sometimes you just got to let it go by the wayside and be done with it, or you'll do it forever. You'll just be stuck.
Yes, and you'll never release anything.
Right.
I mean, I suppose when you said it's a moment in time, I was thinking that's the entire definition of the word record.
You're right. I didn't think of it like that. You're right. Yeah, it's a
Because yeah,
record.
that's a stamp in where you were.
Right. Yeah. And they're meant to change. They're meant to evolve.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, I know you said you had just started writing, a year ago, which would have put you around 33, right? You're
yeah,
34 now.
yeah.
Had you written songs in your early 20s, well, what you did this past year would sound nothing like those songs.
Now I attempted to write in my early 20s, but I ended up.
But, we always change, we always evolve, we always become somebody, somewhat different. Um, our tastes change, our skill level, everything tends to change. So it is a moment in time, I think.
It is, and well, this title has also well, I was actually going to call it "Breaking All the Rules," but then I would have probably got a call from Peter Frampton, asking me to cease and desist because that's one of his favorite songs. But as someone who's gone through a lot more than I have, and for those of people who are watching who want to perhaps well essentially pivot, how from where you started, or for example, where you started in music and that would how would anyone sort of slow down, sort of mellow down, sort of thing, to not not reflecting what they if they're playing music which they may or may not be angry, and then they start writing, and that reflects what they've done instead of avoiding that particular situation where if you are, I've noticed, I've seen some writers that started musicians,
Mhm.
and their books are very angry.
Yeah. Yeah.
They can never shake the mindset.
Yeah.
So
Um,
how do you shift that? How do you shift that?
so for me, I think it was a little bit, I think the fact that I always loved writing and music together, but no one really knew about the writing part.
Mm.
I think I always had that in me. the words always meant something, even when I was only listening to music or only working on music. Um, the words always meant a lot to me. I was attracted to lyrics and songs just as much as I was the actual music. And that doesn't usually happen. I know most people hear the music, whether it's the melody, it's the guitar riff, maybe it's the drum beat, the bass line, it could be a piano piece, whatever, whatever sonic thing they're hearing is usually what pulls them in. But lyrics were right there for me as well when I first started, loving music and wanting to be in music. Um, I also think you can I mean, my book is about 65,000 words, maybe, several hundred pages. Um, a song, is only going to be so long, like, unless you listen to Tool or,
Or
Led
Rush, yeah,
Zeppelin or Rush. Yeah. But you can get a lot of different emotions out through writing. And yes, they can be angry, especially if you come from an angry background, a musical background, an aggressive background. You can certainly make your words angry and your story a bit aggressive,
yeah,
but you have time in writing and in a book certainly to sort of work your way down a little bit and come off of that. Whereas in music, if you're writing a specific type of song, if you're writing an aggressive punk rock song, let's say, um, those 3 minutes are going to be pretty aggressive for the most part. If you're writing a ballad, well, that's going to be pretty mellow throughout the whole song. So I think writing gives you a little bit more leeway to do things
yeah.
uh, from both ends.
And well, you said your book is going to be a documentary. I would
Yeah.
go further. With a name like Slacker, I would have said that should be a movie.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, the title, my publisher and I came up with the title. Well, the way the title happened, I had a working title that I was writing under, which is a play on, like, so the title is Slacker, and then the subtitle is 1991 Teen Spirit Angst and the Generation It Created. In that somewhere was my original title. Something about generations, something about, you know, um, society or whatever. That was more of the title. And then we just threw a bunch of words out that, to me, talked about the music of the 90s. Slacker happened to be one of those words that I threw out on the paper, and we went over all the choices and we settled on Slacker. Um, but I guess the idea that titles sort of come and go, people reuse them or use them. I
Yeah,
forgot that there was actually a movie called Slacker. There was another book called Slacker from way back when. Had nothing to do with music, not the
yeah,
book anyway. Um, so it just, it happenstance, dumb luck, whatever. It just does have a nice ring to it. It's one word, it's memorable, and for a documentary, it kind of, it certainly fits the bill. So, um, but if you look hard enough, you'll find different versions of the word slacker used in many different creative outputs. I definitely wasn't the first to use it.
no, and and that's also interesting that well, you can write a book with the same name,
Yeah,
um, literally rewrite, literally rewriting the rules here, and you can't, and that's not called plagiarism. And yet, if you take someone else's song idea, that is plagiarism. I mean, that's my view. That's completely backwards.
yeah, yeah, and it's weird too because there's like,
Yeah.
I, everything comes from somewhere else. There's always
Yes.
inspiration, and you're a songwriter, you're a musician. I'm willing to bet that you would play a sound that came to you, right? And you figure out the chords and the notes and you'd start playing it and you'd be like, oh, this is cool. I like this. And then you may realize, oh, this is so and so from
Yeah.
whatever band you might have been listening to because you're influenced by it. It's in your head somewhere. Um, Everything comes from somewhere else. So, and there are only so many words, to use too.
Yeah.
Um,
Classic example there was when I was writing a song based on I had just been to California, and I had listened to Slash's album,
Hmm.
um, uh, back from Cali, yeah. So, and then I thought, okay, I like the chord progressions. Unfortunately, when I tried to write my song, I ended up still playing his, which is annoying.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's,
Great, okay, we share that idea.
I remember a story. Pearl Jam had gotten in a bit of trouble with the guys from Led Zeppelin. Pearl Jam had the song "Given to Fly," and Led Zeppelin said it's like a jangly guitar riff, and they said it was essentially the riff for going to California, the Led Zeppelin song. And there are similarities; you can hear it, but it's not a total rip off at all. And it's funny that it came from Led Zeppelin because Led Zeppelin just recreated American blues music and plugged
Yes,
it in. And so many of their songs are American blues songs that became heavy metal. And so it's weird. Like there's only so like I think that there's a line in a Beastie Boys song. Only 12 notes a man can play. Um, what are you supposed to do? Sometimes things are going to sound like something else. And you just have to try your hardest to make it your own.
yes, it is, and that's the same, with well, anything really, but particularly when I find it actually hilarious that we have got to that stage when even you might have seen this as well. Ed Sheeran went to court. He actually took his guitar
Yeah,
and
I remember that.
played the four chords. There is no you can't you can't copyright chords. You can't otherwise.
No, 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 because then what are you going to do with like then the instruments
Yeah,
are you might as well not even play an instrument then.
yeah.
You know?
Well, that's happened as well now. AI has rewritten the rules again.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I
It's
don't
a
like that at all.
yeah. No, AI has its place for sure. And the world is
And you
going in that
stay away from
direction.
music. Stay away from
Stay away
music with
from
AI.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like you know what? It's a great tool to help people create things, whether it's
it's a great tool to
administrative
help
stuff.
them, but you
Yeah.
shouldn't really release just when you created it with AI. You should then take it to the studio and then do it yourself.
Yeah, and you can let
Well,
AI help you with marketing, and you can let AI help you with
yeah,
promotion, and you can do. But when it comes to the actual writing of the words, of the sound, the music, let it keep it away. Keep it away. Let
yeah,
the humans do it. And
absolutely.
yeah, it's music and writing, in my opinion, are about feel. Like we hear music, obviously, we
Yeah,
see the words that we read, but it's really about feel. It's really about how you feel when you're consuming that art. And I believe that if something is done authentically and if it's done with passion, then the reader or the listener, depending on what the medium is, they get that. They understand, they feel that
yeah,
passion, that authentic thing that the writer did. And that's how people wind up falling in love with music and words.
yeah. Words are very powerful. Very powerful. A lot can be. You can. I don't want to get morbid, but you can ruin someone's day just by a text message.
Sure, absolutely. It's unfortunate, but it's true.
Um, I also find with when it comes to AI, um, the fact that we even need to have this conversation, take AI companies to court over plagiarizing and training their AI on people's music is
Yeah,
laughable. Um, what makes it laughable is the fact that the three labels that were suing two of those companies ended up striking deals and working with them.
yeah, yeah. When people cannot make money off of something, they're going to fight it. and they'll fight it until they
yeah,
can come up with a solution to, get a piece of that pie. They don't really care about the creativity. They don't really care about,
no,
the human aspect. They care about, how are
they
they going
care
to get
about
their
churning
share?
out. Yeah, they care about
Yeah.
churning out just stuff and diluting every industry under the sun. I mean, it's wonderful AI. I mean, I use it all the time. I use ChatGPT. I have ridiculous fun when creating 3D images.
Yeah. Yeah.
Will I use any of them? No, I won't. I just use it for fun. But what? Even when you do that, and going back to rules and rewriting, you've got to figure out. You've got to really realize when you do use AI for in this kind of thing, or indeed anything. Um, someone, no matter who it is, no matter how, if it's AI generated, no matter whatever, someone owns that, and it's not you.
Right. You're right.
It's not you.
It's not. And we're in the infancy of what
Yes.
AI is and what it's going to do. And for someone, I can tell you, I was around and old enough to remember very well the infancy period of the internet. When I was a kid, it didn't exist. And then when I got to college, I was a freshman in 1991.
Yeah. Dot
And
com boom.
my university had a handful of computers in their library.
Yeah.
And I remember you had to write your name on a list, like a waiting list, in order to get access to them. And all they really were at the time, honestly, they were email, and it was a bunch of maybe a few static web pages, some website, very primitive websites that had,
Yeah.
some information, some pictures. But I mean, the idea of social media wasn't even in anybody's, well,
Yeah.
certainly not in our brains. I'm sure somebody was thinking of it, but that didn't happen for another decade. Uh,
Yeah.
it was wild. I mean, to watch that happen out of literally nowhere was crazy. And now we see what it's become. So when you realize that what the baby little tiny first step of the internet was to what it is now, and now we're all witnessing that version of AI, and what's that going to look like in 5 years, 10 years? It's going to be wild.
It's going to be it's going to be IBM's Deep Blue supercomputer all over again, which I built for chess.
Yeah, yeah, it's going to be monstrous. Yeah,
It's going to, I think, rewrite every single industry. And I personally, it's a sad thought, but I think it's a real possibility that the music industry will not be around anymore.
it's possible, not the way we know it. It's possible everything is going to change drastically. um, I think humans will always need music, will always need words, will always need sounds, will always need art. But
It's for what's
how we
for it.
get it and how it's created,
Yeah.
I'm a little nervous about where that's going.
So I really don't want that to happen, but I don't have any control over that
Yeah,
unless someone cares to go up against Universal Music Group and challenge them for music domination. I mean, it's the only way you're going to stop that kind of thing.
yeah, yeah. It's gonna take a revolution in a way.
Yeah.
It really will. And I don't know who's capable of that. I mean, I would join. I would join that revolution.
I would like to try and take on the behemoth.
Yeah,
Um, I'd love to try and do that. I mean, I guess that's kind of where my head was when I created Rockstar X and
hmm,
wanting to be um, the Google of neurodivergence
yeah,
or stuff like that, and having um, if I can topple any big corporation in the process,
Why not?
and give back the power to the people.
Hmm.
I do that.
Yeah, and that's, you know what, that's the right mindset. And whether or not, we do anything like that or make a little dent, you're doing something that you believe in, that you love, that you're passionate about. That's kind of what you need to do, for your own happiness. No matter what the outcome, you win. Because you
Yes,
did you did something that you truly believed in. And I think people don't do that enough anymore. Creating things is difficult. It's not easy to put stuff out into the world that makes you vulnerable. It opens you up to, all sorts of criticism. Um, so you win either way. You know what I mean? Like, you already won because you created what you created. Now, on top of that, sure, you can grow and you can change and you can add to it, but you've already done something that most people don't do.
yeah, just take a risk.
Correct. Yeah.
But who? Yeah, I mean, I think we're gonna have to have this discussion off the air. But if we do that, and I know Joseph is planning something in the music realm,
Hmm.
um, then I would like you to be involved. On
Yeah,
that.
no, I would love to. I was having a conversation with someone recently, and the universe is strange because I think when you finally do, like what we were just talking about, when you finally do those things that you have to do, the things that you believe you were meant to do, and you start to do it, well, I think, I don't know if it's energy, I don't know what it is, but you start to attract people who are very like-minded and they do similar things. And you realize, like, oh, okay, well, I don't have to do this by myself. There's other people out here who believe in life this way, and they do things for the right reasons. So, whatever you've got going on, man, I'm impressed. I'd love to be a part of it.
Yeah, speak to Joe. I think you speak well. We speak to Joseph. I will do the same thing, and try and get that ball rolling. But um, and yeah, rewriting the rules and taking giants down by a peg or two, and putting them slightly more. Yes, you're not God. You're not godly. You're just humans here.
Yep.
Someone needs to see. Someone needs to tell them. Uh,
And honestly, like, it's strange when you look at it this way, but all of this machine learning and AI and all this
yeah,
stuff, like, now maybe there's going to
that's
come a
not
time
even
where
new.
it all
That's not
thinks
even
for
new.
itself. Yeah, well, I don't know. If it's going to be successful, it has to
Yeah.
have, something to pull from, and humans have to continue to create
Yeah.
things, and humans have to
It's not
continue to
even new
discover.
either. AI is not a new concept because well back in the 80s, like for early computers, you had machine learning. That's
Yeah,
kind of the same thing,
yeah,
really.
yeah.
Um,
We were always headed for this, I think.
I
You
think
know.
we are. I think we were, and we're all. And whether we like it or not, we're gonna. Someone on the spectrum is gonna rewrite the rules again for Web 3.0, which is already here, sort of thing.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not quite sure how I feel about that. I'm quite happy with this one.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't
Well,
think we need to advance any further.
it's very exciting, I think, to be a part of something that's cutting edge, something that's new, or something that is rebelling against things that just don't align with most
Yeah,
people's morality. So, hey, you know what? Bring it on. Whatever. Because look, we're not going to stand in its way right now, but we can do things to either fight it as it happens, or we can change things for the better. You never know. It's
yeah,
exciting.
yeah. I mean, definitely that kind of thing will is not going to happen with the average mind. It will happen with someone high functioning,
Yeah.
Elon Musk kind of thing. I mean, he's just openly admitted he's got Asperger's, so whether or not that's true is another matter. But
Mm.
if it is, then that proves what I've been saying for the best part of my life, in that people who have got a neurotypical brain don't know or can't get their head around taking risks, or not many of them anyway. Some of them
Mm.
may, but
But
the risk takers normally are on this everlasting invisible line called a spectrum, which we can't see.
well, I think it's important to shine a light on, you know, people and organizations, groups, whatever, you know, it could be music or writing, like we're talking about, but in any walk of life, people do need to get used to and start to understand
Other
people who
people.
are not like, you know, others, and
Yeah.
that's been a problem in the world for a very long time. Um,
That's because society it comes from the top. It comes from government. It comes
yeah.
from society. And dare I say, I love it to bits, but dare I say, Hollywood as well
Mhm.
is uh, is largely also responsible, and these magazines and stuff telling us what we're meant to be looking like. And
Right. Exactly. People fear what they don't know. People
yeah,
fear what they don't understand. And when something is successful, they want to just regurgitate it, repackage
yeah,
it, you know, put a different spin on it. But if it's already been successful and it's made them money, they want nothing to come in and upset that. Um,
exactly.
but it's time to upset some things. So, you know.
It is. So, what are you working? What are you going to be working on the next few months until I see you again, which is fucking else a year.
So I'm I'm always working on Slacker in one way or the other, whether it's promotion for the book now or the documentary that is coming out, but you know we haven't been able to do any promotion or marketing for it yet because it hasn't been, you know, fully pushed out there. But when that happens, I'll be heavily involved in that. I'm also a ghostwriter, so I'm working on a book now for someone that I'm ghostwriting for, and those those things, and also being a dad, you know, that keeps me busy for sure. But yeah, those are the things I'm working on, and hopefully, I did start a what would probably be, you know, a proper follow up to Slacker. But I did pause that once the book got optioned to become a documentary because I just couldn't do everything at the same time. But I do want to write a follow up that I had in mind for it before the documentary thing happened. So eventually I'll get to that too.
Yes, don't be lazy and call it Slacker 2.
No, it won't be called Slacker too. No, no. No, I'm, you know, I'm fascinated with the '90s, the late '80s, the early '90s, mid '90s, everything I lived through as a younger person, all the shows I went to, all the ways society was changing during those times. So what the follow up would be like Slacker takes on the whole scene. It's a very broad stroke kind of book. I'm going to hone in on one or two topics and really dig into those, but still from the same time period. But it will not be called Slacker 2. No, I promise.
No, that's just like every time someone does that. Oh, you've been a book. What's it called? It's got the first title and then the number after. Oh, I see you're
Yeah,
one of those people. Okay.
yeah.
No thoughts, no originality. Okay, fine.
No, no, it'll be a brand new title, brand new. It'll you'll be able to see the connection for sure, but there will not be a Slacker 2 or any Slacker in the title. So no.
So if this was made into a movie, because Slacker is a movie, you said. So if you were making your book into a movie, what would you call it?
Oh wow. I don't know. You know, it's funny about titles, at least for me. When I write poems and when I was writing songs, you know, long ago, I had to come up with the title first. I had to. Even if it just wound up being a working title in the moment, I couldn't really write the body until I had a title. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because I needed that thing to kind of keep me grounded
Mm.
in the message. But I needed the title first, so it would take me a long time to come up with a title, and then I would write it. So I don't know. I would have to really think about it.
Well, if you were um, if I search for titles by when I write the chorus, then I think, okay, the most obvious place you would put a title or grab it from is the chorus,
Right,
and the same word which repeats in the entire song.
right.
That's how I always wrote, and interestingly enough, the lyrics always did come first, um, and then the music, but the lyrics always came first.
That's very rare in songwriting. Very rare. Most songwriters write the music first, so that's very interesting.
My process is writing from what I see going on, and certainly I've had fun with one album which I haven't released yet, going to humanize it. It's
Okay,
currently got a lot of yes. I did that for the purpose of getting the idea, not to actually release it in that state.
okay.
Um, that album's very political, very political. So there is an underlying theme on that one, which if you've seen what was going on with all this digital online safety stuff, which is going very far, um, of us verifying that we're over the age of 18 and stuff, when it should be
Hmm.
the kids who are doing the opposite way around.
Yep.
Um, Most of the album you could probably spot on the through the lyrics where it's
That's very
that that's
interesting.
that sort of theme and being oppressed or,
Look,
or, or feeling oppressed. Yeah,
writing, like I told you, lyrics have always been important to me. So I think when somebody writes the lyrics first and then figures out what the music should sound like to enhance the words, not only is that rare, but I think it's pretty powerful. Because sometimes people will write a great piece of music, but the words that go with it are almost filler.
yeah.
Just something that sounds good within the melody. Um, and if they love the sound of the song itself, they might not care too much about the lyrics, and that's a shame. So it's very
Yeah,
interesting that you do it that way.
yeah, I mean, and also when I'm over here, when I'm over here, I had the longest bit of writing block ever. I was writing until a certain point, and then it just went. But when I came to America, it came back in aggressive form,
Hmm.
which it ended up me going home with around 14 more songs,
Wow.
three of which more three from three of which for the new album. Because I was searching for nine. I was searching for 10, 11, and 12. Um, and yeah, I come to America. I get unstuck for songwriting. So
I'm shocked at the how prolific of a songwriter you are. That is it's a lot of songs, man. That's a lot of songs for a small period of time, and then the overall body of work within a year, 30 plus. That's great. That's great.
it's yeah. I don't know where it came from. I have no idea.
That's the best way though. Like I don't know when you're in, that creative mode or zone, um, you're not supposed to know, you know? I mean, you hear people say it all the time, whether they're, authors or songwriters or whatever they might be. some people have no idea where it comes from, you know, and that's usually some of the best stuff that you get.
Yes. What? Yes. One of the songs I read one of the song lyrics, but it's no. I surprised myself. I surprised myself with them, which is uh, yeah, a shock because I thought I lost my creative writing um, way back in elementary school when I wrote one fantastic essay, and yeah, nothing more after that. Um, so one of the one of the one of my I won't read the whole lyrics because that's just boring. But one of my recent ones is talking about how uh, being over in the UK is yeah um, shall we say not as what it was,
Hmm.
and to effectively get me the hell out of here would be yeah was is general theme, yes, because it's going in the direction of where I don't think it would be uh it'd be going to the point of no return.
Really?
No, if you look at the way the world is currently,
Yeah.
you look at how again it's the rules seem to be rewriting in real time,
Hmm.
um, and and the fact that America and your president is saying what everyone in the UK is thinking about our lovely leader. Um, he's saying it as it is, and I like it. I like it. I love him for that. But someone has to.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when you've got yeah, when you've got a leader of the free world, I'm gonna put my words very carefully here. Um, when you've got the leader of the free world rewriting the rule book, openly thinking about inviting British some of their oldest allies to
Hmm.
make asylum, you know your country's gone down it.
Yep.
It's gone too far gone. When your own closest ally does that,
We we are in some of the strangest times, or the
yeah,
strangest times I've ever seen. Um,
yeah,
and it's not fun. It's not. It's dumb. Really,
it is dumb, yeah.
it's dumb. It's full of greed and
And
hate.
for those on the spectrum, there's also anxiety as well. You
Sure. Yeah.
well, that's everyone, but even more
That you're
so.
right, right, and it's everyone for sure who I think has a brain, um, and uses it correctly. But I think also it goes back to what we were talking about earlier,
Yeah,
where people are afraid of things they don't understand,
yes,
people they don't understand, or ways of doing things that they don't understand. Now, some people, it may come from a genuine place of just, I don't know
mm,
how to handle something that I don't know. But I think more than not, it's coming from a bad place. Like I don't like people different than
yeah,
me. I don't want to know them, and I don't want their ways to become,
yes,
um, part of the fabric of society. Which, if you look throughout history, it's always been like that.
it has. Yeah.
Whatever the difference is, the people in power don't want that difference.
We've effectively come in a big circle,
Yeah, yeah,
and no
yeah.
one knows how to get off the roundabout.
Well, it's a good time to challenge things, I think.
It is, and this is what I don't know if I'm going to get completely told to shut up now, but by Joe, the fact that we are actively explore actively the thing we're working on over the next few weeks. I'm not quite sure if I'm allowed to say it, but we are working on a artist residence based on Long Island,
Hmm.
where you've seen these residential studios dotted around
Yeah.
the world, and we want to bring a bit of that with a different flavour to with also the neurodivergent aspect as well. So that is all I know at the moment.
Okay.
We're
That's
and then build, we're at the moment building interest on that, and we have identified a property in the Hamptons,
mm,
which we are looking to get hold of, but it might not be that one. It might be another one. It might have gone by then. But we just want to give people a not pressured environment
hmm
um, to effectively be as creative in themselves as they want to be in all sorts of art forms of creativity. So it doesn't have to be just music. It can be I don't know painting or something like that, or book writing,
yeah.
and all that stuff. So it's a place for everybody, really. What we're trying to create,
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, and I think it's sorely needed. People need a place to go and create, and
and
feel like,
escape from
yeah,
the noise. Yeah,
yeah. Uh, so hopefully, as you work on it, it becomes uh, reality sooner than later, because
yeah,
it's going to be something that I think will um, help a lot of people. And I guess,
yeah,
like I said earlier, like when you do things like that, you win no matter what the broader
yeah.
outcome might be.
And like with everything in life, sadly, that does come normally with a price tag.
Well, that's true too. And but the hurdles of business are
Is
always
that,
are always
yeah,
there,
yeah,
you know. But the idea and the wanting to do something that is so altruistic and good, um, that's what's important. And then hopefully the business side takes care of itself, because there are people in the world who do care about this stuff, and people who might be able to push things like that right across the finish line. So
you did a record. You were a record label owner. Would you
mhm.
be go? Would you is there? Would you go back to that life again, or are you done with it at this particular stage in your career?
Yeah, no, I mean, writing is my first love, but I would be involved. I would like to be involved in that again at some point, if possible, or if the timing was right, because I only stopped when COVID happened,
Yeah,
because there were no more shows, you couldn't go to studios, people couldn't get together. Financially, it was a losing proposition anyway, and it was only going to get worse. So I do love the idea. I've always loved the idea of introducing music to people, and I love working with artists on making music, whether it's in a somewhat of a producer role, or someone to just be sort of uh, an idea person to throw
mhm,
ideas back and forth and help create everything from look, when you're independent, you do all of the stuff,
yeah,
music, you do, sound, you do marketing, you do business, you do live shows, um, everything in between. So I loved it, and yeah, I'd love to get involved in it again at some point for sure. And everything I do going forward, I believe, will have music involved, even if I'm writing something that isn't necessarily about music. There'll always be a component of what I do, where music is, if not the number one piece, it's going to be like 1A. It's going to be right there.
Oh, Rob, and I hope that we can have a conversation sooner rather than later. Um, as we wrap up this time. But for those of you who are listening, we have renewed the fourth season of Writing for the Writer Party. Beastie Boys reference, I know, but um,
Yeah.
they can't do much about that now. But thank you so much for coming, Rob, and I hope that we can speak soon. And let me know when that. Give me a few dates, and then we can set out.
Yeah, absolutely, Joel. Thank you. This was fun. I really like our conversations. So we'll certainly do it again for sure. And yeah, well, next time you are in the States, we'll make it a point to get together.